We're used to hearing stories from people, right? But what if the story came from the place where it all went down? In this explainer, we're going to listen to a house that remembers every single detail of a truly remarkable life lived inside its walls. It all starts with this question from the author, Betty Seaver. I mean, think about it. Does your house see you? Does it remember? It kind of makes you wonder if the walls around us are more than just wood and plaster, if maybe they're silent witnesses. Well, for one very special house, the answer to that question is a huge, definite yes.
So, this house, it remembers. It remembers Randy's mother, Betty, and it remembers what it calls her daily miracle, a relentless, almost unbelievable performance of motherhood, day after day, back in 1955. The house seems to recall Betty's day in these distinct chapters, and the first one it calls the morning campaign. It's like it saw her as more than a mom. It saw her as a general, meticulously planning and preparing her troops for the day.
Okay, just look at this sequence. Can you imagine this kind of efficiency? Before most of the neighborhood had even hit the snooze button, Betty had already run through this entire checklist. She moved with this practiced precision, where every single second was accounted for. No wasted motion, just this relentless, purposeful drive to get her family out the door.
So once her husband Fred and her sons Randy and Stan were sent out into the world, all fed, cleaned, and ready to go, what did she get? Her big reward? A 30-second pause. Not 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Barely enough time for a sip of coffee before the whole next mission began.
And that brings us to the midday mission. This is the time when she was all alone in the house, and the work became this kind of, unseen alchemy. She was transforming the day's chaos into quiet, livable order.
There was literally no downtime. I mean, beds were made with hospital corners a Navy officer would weep for. The grocery run wasn't just a casual trip, it was a strategic mission. By 11 a.m., she was already prepping for dinner. And in between all that, folding laundry with geometric precision and somehow keeping the floors clean against the constant mess of a growing family.
But here's the thing. While that list of chores is absolutely staggering, the house is telling us that wasn't the real miracle. The true magic, that was happening in the spaces between the tasks. The scraped knees that needed a kiss, the homework that needed a second look, the patient listening. It was all that emotional labor just woven so seamlessly into the physical work.
So the day would build and build, and it would all culminate in what the house calls the family heartbeat. Because at 3:30 p.m., the small tornadoes, her 2 sons, would burst through that door, and Betty's job would shift all over again.
Suddenly, she was a referee, a teacher, a snack provider, a counselor, a coordinator, all at the same time. She was basically managing the emotional temperature of the entire family, soaking up her husband's frustrations from work, listening to her son's stories from the playground, all while somehow getting dinner on the table. And this is maybe the most astounding part. After a day that would leave most of us completely wiped out, her work still wasn't done. She somehow found the energy, and not just energy, but genuine enthusiasm for family game night. She wasn't just going through the motions. She was there, she was present, and she was providing that laughter and connection. Which leads to the big question, right? How? How did she do it? How is this level of output, both physical and emotional, even possible for one person? It's like the house itself is trying to figure out the anatomy of this daily miracle. Well, here's the detail that makes her performance in 1955 just almost unbelievable. One crucial piece of the puzzle. She was doing all of this while pregnant with her 3rd son, Scott. She was fighting through morning sickness, the summer heat, without ever slowing down. It just added this whole other layer of difficulty to a routine that was already seemingly impossible.
And what happened when the baby finally arrived? Did she break? Nope. Her capacity just expanded. The house actually remembers her mastering the art of nursing a baby on one hip while stirring a pot with her free hand. It's the perfect image of her boundless multitasking.
And that's where we finally get it, the true definition of her miracle. It wasn't about the perfectly folded laundry or the dinner that was always on time. The real miracle was the outcome.
It was creating a home where love felt as reliable as the sun coming up, where every single person felt seen and safe and valued.
You know, the house, even after seeing it all, is still left with these unanswerable questions. It remembers those quiet moments. Betty leaning against the kitchen counter, just totally overwhelmed, and then somehow gathering strength from some deep, mysterious place before just carrying on.
And this question, this one gets right to the heart of her genius. How do you make the impossible look like, well, just another Tuesday? Because to her family, this superhuman effort, it didn't look like a struggle. It just felt normal. It just felt like home.
In the end, the only explanation the house can really offer is a beautiful one. It compares her love to that miracle of the loaves and fishes. You know the one. Something that, when it's skillfully applied, just seems to multiply, feeding everyone without ever running out. Betty was the steady heartbeat of that home, the invisible force that held everyone's world together. A daily miracle, witnessed by one watchful, remembering house on 30th Street. And it kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Who are the unsung miracle workers in our own lives, making the impossible look just like another Tuesday?